Hello everyone, this is DDWitcher1 here, and today I'm going to be doing a video on the Jimmy 2014 life-size Medusa animatronic for Halloween. This is an item that I've never owned, and I still have yet to own. This actually belongs to a friend of mine who lives not too far away, and just had a few issues with it, so I offered to repair it for him and do a video on it for him. His YouTube channel is Darth Sidious, and I will put a link to his channel in the description. This item had really one main issue with it, and it was the hands. The hands are just so terrible on this. Like, I like the item. I think the movement is pretty unique because obviously you can't just completely just reuse a module to get the movement of the snakes, because in case you don't know, her snakes on her head actually move around, which is really cool. So you can't just take like a typical SVI like reindeer motor gearbox and just throw it in the head and make it work. You have to, make some new parts and pieces to get it going. And so I'm really impressed about that feature with it. The dress is cool. It's a bit confusing when you're putting it on just because of how loose and flowy it is. There's not really any structure to it. I guess I'm just getting the negative parts out of the way here. And the dress is way too short because she hovers above the base like a lot. Like with the Cottage Coven Wedget, it's just barely long enough, so you can maybe assume there's some legs under there, but with this you just see the poles and everything. So one theory for that, even though this is for 2014, maybe it was on a push button base at one point. Because with the Flaky Francis prototype, her dress hovers above her base a good bit, but in the stock photo it is portrayed as having the round push button base and the dress being long enough. So maybe that was the case with this, but given it's 2014, I kind of doubt it. But regardless, the dress would be nice if it was a little longer. This item, I'm going all out of order here with what I normally say. This item was sold mainly at two places. It was sold in stores at Menards and online at HomeDepot.com. And it was sold through like Sunstar Industries wholesale. So you would see a couple of these at like private Halloween shops, some eBay sellers that were not just, scalping early in the season and things like that. In her demo video that Jimmy put on their YouTube channel before they wiped it of all of its history, they showed a box at the end that had the actual style guide from 2013 through 2015. You might recall the neon colors on the box, not the most Halloween-y, but distinct, I'll give it that. It actually had a box with that style guide design on it, but I've never actually seen one of those in the wild. The Home Depot one comes in a plain brown box, and the Menards one comes in the blue, pumpkin hollow styled packaging for Menards. So I don't know if I've actually seen like a Jimmy style box for her before, and if I did, then I forgot because it was a long time ago. But yeah, this was also sold in 2014 only, and it is really neat. It's just, there's things that you can tell that they really slacked on with this. This is 2014. In 2016, they would make the last character with the kind of black plastic base and the metal poles. It just went to the metal, like aluminum metal frame base. So during that time, they were really kind of transitioning from old Jimmy to new Jimmy. So you still had some really good products, it's just there were things that could have been done better. The main issue that you'll see with Medusa is her hands. The hands are actually vinyl like the head is, so that like Butler head material, old 5 Foot Dancing Santa head material, the head and hands are made of that. However, the hands are extremely, extremely thin. And there's even a seam on them, which, now that I think about it, might actually just be there from it being casted. Because when these hands would be blow molded, there would be a seam. That's why on a bunch of the newer items, the hands have that seam down the middle, because instead of it being a vinyl hand, it is a blow molded hand. So either the method they did with using vinyl involved a seam, or they casted a seamed hand and made it in vinyl, which either of those frankly are possible. But it's probably most likely that they just did a method that involves a seam. So it is nice that they're vinyl, but they are just like a step above Vacuform with quality, because I can squeeze the hands and like ply them around without even any heat to them. And so because of that, a lot of people got theirs with kind of deformed hands, and if yours was in the box for a few years, the hands were rough. And I did a video on how to de-warp vinyl parts from Jimmy items, but I gotta be honest, guys, that barely worked on these hands. So this hand, it worked a little, because this hand was just kind of flat, but this one was folded in on itself, and the heat just wasn't really working. Because if I can already, bend it around when it's not heated up, what real difference is that going to make, right? So what I ultimately did is I stuffed both hands with bubble wrap and newspaper, put them back on, and they look incredible compared to how they used to. Not perfect by my standards, but pretty good. I actually put a piece of clear tape right there because the paint on these hands is also kind of not the best. It is better on the head, it seems, but on the hands, as I was, moving the hands around and bending them back into shape, the paint was kind of starting to flake a little bit on the palms. It's not super bad at all on this one, but on this one, it was getting to the point where I was concerned it would really start to spread, so there's just a little piece of clear tape on there, which isn't really noticeable. I didn't have clear coat or anything on hand, so I didn't use that. But yeah, all four snakes move. The snakes are a soft PVC material, and they're on little rods. The snakes can be missing oftentimes just because they're just loosely glued on. So if you have a Medusa and it has all four of the snakes, then good for you. That's really nice. Here's her Home Depot box. There's a purchase order number. I don't know if that's specific to like you if you would buy it, or just for the lot, if you will. So there's just a barcode. Her item number is 55392. They hadn't yet reached 2018 where they made it 6 digits and then you can't easily read it off of there. She weighs 17.3 pounds. Now you know. And it had, everything in it. There's the instructions, the support poles, the adapter box, a bag, and there are special foam inserts for the head, which are neat, and those are really important to hold on to. So yeah, guys, I really can't say much more else about this because I've said a lot. I guess if I was to be nitpicky, there's these like tentacle-like things that are hanging out of her dress. I guess it's to make her more snake-like, and I can tell there's the little inflatable snow globe pellets inside. But it's just a random aspect of her clothing. But yeah, said way too much as usual, but now we'll get into the demo here. And she's a little over-amplified, but it's nothing like the Kaj Coven Witch. It's pretty normal sounding still. So yeah guys, that is the Jimmy 2014 life-size Medusa animatronic for Halloween. I think it's a pretty neat piece. Obviously a lot of corners were cut when making it. I'm sure maybe at one point there was head turn movement, the hands might have been better quality, maybe even the dress longer. Who knows right now? Maybe I'll know in the future, but for now that's all I know. But with what you get, it's still pretty neat. She didn't retail for too much. I think it's a cool piece. I personally think I would enjoy getting one someday. Just not, now's not the time, I guess. But hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.